Hi everyone, and welcome back to the next tutorial on the Python development. Obviously, like I mentioned, Python is going to be a universal language that provide us the capabilities to build solution that not only work in the general software engineering, but also in the data analytics, machine learning, and it has many use cases. You can think of something, and Python is there for help you to develop that solution, right? So in the last video, we have seen how we can interact with the variables and how we can use different data types to store the information. Now, as a next step, what we're gonna do, we're gonna see how we can apply the condition, because these are the general construct that we're gonna go through, and then we start moving towards the more practical use cases which we face day to day in our jobs, right? So but these videos will help you to get the basics if you need to understand how the syntax work, how the command works. So you can come back and you can visit these videos, right? But that will be a basic for the upcoming videos. All right, so what I'm gonna do, let's see. If I just put a condition, so condition is more like where we need to test something, and based on the validity of that situation or condition, we're gonna perform some action. So for example, if I want to check the length of the first name, and in my system, the first name should have a value as part of the data quality rule. So I need to test that condition. If the first name doesn't contain any value, that means that record is not the correct record, right? So in order to apply this sort of condition, and by the way, these concepts gonna be universe across all other languages, and even with the SQL that we're gonna look into parallel towards this course, right? And we have already started that journey. Regardless whether you are working with the PySpark, Spark, Java, C, most of the main programming concept remain intact. That's why it's easy for you to get a grasp on any language if you have a strong background on these construct, right? So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to implement a condition that if for example, length, which I've shown you in the last video, that how we generally use this function to perform different action, and these we don't need to develop because Python already provided us, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say, so my first name is, oh, I need to rerun. I think my runtime has disconnected. So what I need to do, let me just run it from here so we can just understand. So let them these cells run, because you can see on my top right, the environment is disconnected, which is showing me that I have to connect back to the runtime, which will allow me to run this notebook, right, in the Python. So yeah, now we can see. And now if I just type the 3 letters and press Control Tab, it's gonna bring the full variable name to me. Yeah, I can see it's the first name. And what I'm going to say, yeah, if it's equal to 0, that means we are not getting any value in the first name, right? So that's something we need to raise as an error, because we cannot accept any record which doesn't have the first name, right? So print, I'm gonna say empty first name field, right? And from the data quality perspective, you can imagine these are the rules which generally business provide us, and we apply the rules on the incoming stream of data and find out what are the anomalies or errors in our data set, right? It's pretty simple. Else, so for example, if I want to, can see, yeah, print record is valid, right? Pretty simple condition, right? In the first one, I'm checking the length. If that length is going to be 0, that means we don't have any character or anything within the first name variable, right? But if it doesn't if it's false, that means we definitely have some value. So that's what we're gonna treat as a success criteria, and we'll perform the action. In this case, we are just printing the status. Yeah, the record is valid. Let's run it. Now you can see we are getting the message record is valid. What I'm gonna do, just gonna I'm just going to take out this value and then I'll run it again. So you're gonna see we only have space Fisher. That means the first name is not available now. That's not the acceptable criteria. Now, if I run it, so you're gonna see empty first name field, first name attribute. Let's do it for attribute. All right. So that's how we generally use the if condition in our code. We can nest our condition. What does nest mean? We can apply additional conditions. So for example, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to complicate the condition, but you know what I can do? Let's keep the condition simple and let's provide the nesting. So I already checked the first name. What I'm going to do, I'm going to define the age as well. So in here, let me just add a text. Yeah. So I'm going to call age, and in here you can see I'm just defining the age. And now I'm defining another other condition. So if my record has been corrected at the first condition, I'm now getting another condition to check it. So sometimes we have the complex logic, we have complex rule where we need to evaluate the rules in the sequence. We need to break on the very first rule, which is not complying with our requirement. Regardless whether it's going to be the first rule, we are not concerned about the upcoming rules, right? Because that will help us to reduce the compute or improve the efficiency of our code, right? So in this case, you can see I'm checking, okay, if the first length is 0, and now I'm going to change it to not equal to 0, right? Because that will reverse the condition. Now, if my first name is has a value, now I'm going to check if age is greater than, let's say, 18. Yeah. So that means, and for example, we are working in a corporate where the normal employment age is 18, and if we are getting a record where the age is less than 18, obviously that record is not legitimate to be entered in our system, right? So if age is 18, I'm gonna put the message. Yeah, record is. Let me just copy it in here. Now, the else is going to be tricky because now we can see if the else we have two else, because we have two condition. If the external condition will fail, we're gonna deliver different message, and if the internal condition will fail, we're gonna provide a separate message, right? We cannot provide a generic message. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just take this one out because this one record is valid, and I'm saying, yeah, about now. But somehow, let me see. Okay, now it's all good. So you have to be careful with the indentation because Python is very sensitive from the tabs perspective, and especially in the block statement, it will identify based on the tab which statement belongs to which block, right? So now because we are complicating our condition and we have put the nested condition, so you can see it's now complaining because the statement it used to execute was not on the right level, right? Just to be in mind while you are implementing these blocks. Okay, so if these two conditions are correct, our record is valid and ready to insert. Ready to insert. However, if age is not greater than equal to 18, so I'm gonna see, I'm gonna post a message incorrect age must be greater and equal to 18, right? That's the standard criteria, right? And if the other else reach out, like that means our first name is empty. So what I'm gonna tell user, so because this message really help the end user to identify where the error is, so they can go and they can fix it. So I'm gonna call it empty first name. That's it. So now let's see what we're gonna see. You can see we have age, which is all right. So what is oh, we haven't actually populated. So that's fine because our first condition is executed, and because the length of the first name is 0, so that's why it is executing the outer else. By the way, the first statement or the first level in the nesting is called outer, and the one which comes after the outer, they are called the inner in generic language, right? But you can call it the way. By the way, the top one is the outer because it's handling the outer condition, and then we have the inner if statement, and that's where the nesting start, right? So once I say inner, that means the one which is the under the outer, right? But if we have more than two, then we're gonna actually call it depend upon the condition, right? That would be easier to use to identify. All right, so my first condition is not true, so that's why I'm printing the first empty first name. Let me just fix that. Let me just put it back, John, and let me just run it. Yeah, my record looks good. Just gonna show you. And now let's run it. So yeah, record is valid and ready to insert, because as soon as it execute the first statement, that is true, it execute the next statement, which is inside of the first statement. And by the way, if you have noticed, once the first statement is invalid, it doesn't go and check the second condition, right? So that's the sequential flow where you need to validate in step by step, right? So now because now the first statement is true, or first statement is valid, now it's coming and checking the age if it's greater than 18, which is obviously the case because we put the value of 30. Now just for the sake of completion, I'm going to show you somehow. Let me just put 15, right? So let's see if I'm able to get now the error message for the age, right? So if I just look at it now, incorrect age must be greater than equal to 18, right? So that's how we generally implement the condition in our codes. And the if is one of the most essential part, that whenever you build any solution, you're gonna use it regardless of the solution, whatever your use case is. These, like the conditions and loops, you're gonna use a lot, so you need to be very smart in implementing these artifacts in your solution. If you have any question, or if you need to know more, please put your comments, happy to answer. Otherwise, thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next lesson.